Hey guys, this is Nick, and this is Nick's Collectibles. Before we get started, I'd like to take a quick moment, ask you if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like, and while you're there, go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell so that you don't miss any future content. That out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Today we have S.H.Figuarts Mandalorian from, Mandalorian. The box itself is pretty simple and nice, has a clean look with a good window to look inside and see the figure itself along with all the accessories. When you turn the box around, you can see it actually has some really good looking images of the character itself and some really iconic poses from the show. But enough of the box, let's go ahead and get him out of there and have a look. Okay, so we got this guy out of the box, so let's go ahead and move him in a little bit closer so you can see the great detailing that they have on the head sculpt. He has a similar head mold to Boba Fett, you'll notice, but the helmet is all in a chrome color, indicative of the character with no real denting or scarring at all. You can also see that he has no antenna, but he has that same black enamel paint that made Boba Fett so reflective, like it was made out of glass. You can also see that he has a line seam that goes along the center of the helmet from the top of the visor all the way to the back, where it looks like there's a piece of reinforcement, giving an impressive detailing that looks spot on for the show. Now, if you look down just a bit, you can see his chest piece has a brown coloring on it, and that's because it's from earlier in the show, before he got enough Beskar to mold his full armor. If you look close, you can see it actually has some nicks and scratches from what looks like knife attacks, and some silver just over the sternum. He also has his bandolier across his chest, holding rounds for his signature rifle. The rifle itself takes some work to set up, which we'll go into a little bit later, because you can strap it across his back. For now, let's go ahead and look at his belt. On the left side of the belt, you can see he has some more rounds for his rifle along with a holster for the blaster carbine. Oddly, this pistol doesn't come out of the holster. However, it does have a second holster that's molded to be empty, so you can actually hold his pistol and complete the look of it being out of the holster. I find this kind of an odd choice, given they could have just made a holster that would have actually, held the gun. Regardless, it works, and I have to admit, it looks pretty clean. On the right side of the belt, you can look and see that he has a pouch that, while it doesn't open, it adds a nice touch to the overall look. Beside that pouch, there's a number of what look to be thermal detonators. From here, you can also start to get a good look at his arm and all the detailing from the blade and the gauntlet to his iconic handguard. I think the blue triangle on the tan guard looks really good on the figure and breaks up all the browns and tans that make up the bulk of the color scheme. If we go ahead and move up the arm, you can see his shoulder pollen actually has some scoring on it, like it's seen a few scrapes. You can also start to get a look at the cape, which is pretty clean looking, I have to say. The deep brown color works well with the rest of the figure, and the silky feel to the cape is really nice. You can see that there's also a slit in the back. That's actually so you can peg his rifle onto his back and leave his cape nice and flat against his back. As we lift the cape up, you can see the detailing on the back. He has a number of dents and marks on it, along with another pouch along the back of the bandolier. You can also see a small hole here that's actually where the rifle plugs in after you slip it through the cape. Speaking of, let's go ahead into how to attach the rifle to his back next. The way you can hang his gun along his back is kind of awkward. You basically have to disassemble the gun. First, let's start by pulling off the front of the barrel, like so. Next, we're going to take the centerpiece out, leaving you with just the chamber and the butt of the gun. After that, you need to take this alternate rifling and scope piece that has a post attached to it, you can see it here, and plug it in where the other is. Next, you need to pull out the cocking mechanism. It's basically this tiny piece here. After you do that, attach the rest of the rifle to the front. From here, you slip the post through the slit in the cloak. And peg it to the belt where the hole is. Then, attach the shoulder strap where you pulled out the cocking piece from before. Make sure you don't lose that tiny little piece. I imagine a lot of people are going to lose that. It's so small that it's very, very easy to misplace. So put it someplace safe. As we move him around some more, you can see his other shoulder pattern is a tan color with some of the same blue that we've seen before. He has nice detailing on his gauntlet as well. If we move to his legs, you can see he has some really nicely detailed plates on either side, along with some shells for this gun on his left leg, and his right leg you can see has the same shin guard that Boba Fett has, only this leg has a bit better coloring for this character. He has a good number of hand attachments as well, 4 for the right and 3 for the left, giving him more than enough to hold any of the accessories that come with him. The articulation he has is good, but not amazing. He has solid head motion side to side and up and down. His arms will move in a full 360 as well. He also has a solid bicep rotation, which is a bit stiff, but gives him good posability. His legs move forward about 90 degrees, but only move back about 30 degrees. His knee will bend just past 90, and he has good toe articulation. He also has some ankle articulation, side to side, as well as front to back, giving him a bit more stability when posing him in various different ways. Sadly, he suffers from a lack of mobility to the side, as the leg only goes out about 30 or 40 degrees at most, not enough to do a side kick, but like Boba Fett, he never was much of a martial artist, so it's no big loss. Comparing him to Boba Fett himself, he's about the same size and similar in weight, though a little bit lighter. Is he worth the price, though? It's a tough call. On one hand, I'm really glad I bought him. On the other, I wish he came with more of the iconic accessories that are coming with some of the figures due out later in the year. I would have liked to have seen him have a flamethrower attachment, the whistling birds that he had in the show, or even his grappling line. It would have been nice for him to come with a child as well. Don't get me wrong, what's in the package is nice, but it could have been so much more, and for the price, it really should have been, if I'm honest. I also feel like he's a little finicky. The shoulder piece for the bandolier just hangs there, and if you remove it, it doesn't always want to stay in the peg when you put it back in. Having to take apart the gun to attach it to his back is also not great, and it's got its own problems. One being that it doesn't want to peg in all the time. My gun also wants to come apart sometimes when I'm working on getting it on his back as well, which is slightly frustrating. I even had his shin guard pop off at one point while I was working with him. All these are minor complaints, but when you get to where you're spending this much on a figure, small things matter a lot more. On the plus side, the plastic feels like it's high quality, and that he's more than durable enough to be a little rough with and not worry about damaging him, and he looks great overall. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.